Hey Primers, I have got a very special treat for you this month as we start to focus in on anxiety. Now, as you might already know, anxiety is not something that only lives in the mind. It is something that is manifested in the body. And so I want to introduce you to a friend of mine. This is Dan Palacios.
Hey everyone,
and Dan,
how you doing?
Tell the people a little bit about what you do, what your expertise is.
Yeah, so I'm a 10-year strength conditioning coach. I've been working with every kind of athlete and every kind of average person you can think of, from young children up to the most elderly adults, and pretty much everything in between. So I've seen pretty much every manner of personality, orthopedic issue, catastrophic injuries, brain injuries, all sorts of injuries along those lines. So I work with a lot of adaptive athletes, and in general, most of the people who I've come across, whether they've had injuries or major life trauma or whatever it is, carry some level of anxiety coming into the gym, whether that's just being a little bit freaked out by going into a gym because they're intimidated by it, or maybe they've been injured by other workouts that they've done before, and so they're a little freaked out by certain movements. Like it or not, most people experience some level of anxiety with either training or life in general, and what we do in the gym is designed to actually help curb some of that natural anxiety that happens in the mind through the body.
Right, so there could be anxiety about actually coming to the gym. But the other thing we know is that you might have anxiety about something unrelated to working out.
Absolutely.
And people can come here to the gym or to work out from their homes. And talk about a little bit how actually doing some of the workouts that you train people to do helps them rid their bodies of that anxiety.
Yeah, so what I find one of the number one things that exercise in general provides for the average person is the opportunity to escape, right? And even if you did have some maybe mental or emotional objections coming into the gym, with the right kind of workout designed for you specifically, we can help to curb some of that initial anxiety that comes into it. And once you get locked into the movements, once you have a better understanding of the movements, that natural confidence that you build through, number one, learning new exercises and building strength and confidence, the actual physical strength and confidence that comes from that, but number two, the actual physical unwinding of the tissues. There's very few mental or emotional interventions that can provide that level of very direct unwinding of tissues. So techniques like massage and stretching, whether that's static or passive stretching, or even just muscle contraction in general, allows those tissues to start to relax, generate blood flow, bring more oxygen into the system by inducing heavier, harder breathing. All of those factors contribute to reducing overall anxiety and just generally being focused in on the exercises as opposed to whatever it is you were focused on when you walked into the gym. So that alone is a huge factor in reducing anxiety in general in the mind as well as the tissues.
So we know that if you've had any sort of life trauma, an injury, something serious, and as you've heard, Dan is somebody who can deal with that. He's been working with people with these kinds of serious issues, and what he teaches helps with that. But you don't have to have had something that dramatic, right? Maybe you're just somebody who worries a lot. You catastrophize. You're always kind of living in that fight or flight mode. And so what we want to do is we want to just share simple, everyday things that you might be able to do to just help with the body, because we're going to be working together on your mind and your beliefs and kind of restructuring all that through priming. But I want Dan to just also give you another thing that you can do, and let's put the two together just to help boost your results. So Dan, show us some things that people can do from the comfort of their own home.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have some really simple, basic stuff that you can do. You talked about priming. Not only should we prime our mind when we're getting ready to go into the gym, so all of the mental drills that you're doing and going through with people, they should be utilizing those as they prepare themselves to do their work in their gym. But we're going to prime the tissues. So we'll go through some really, really basic stuff that anyone and everyone can do. You don't require really very much equipment, if any at all, just an understanding and an openness to be aware of your body and how to use it.
So are you guys open? I am. All right, Dan, show us.
Let's do it.